What's going on, y'all? So I wanted to go ahead and I went ahead and did the introduction video, but I got some time, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another video. This will be my actual first video about, talking about the issues that I wanted to talk about. So there's a lot of topics I want to touch on. They kind of bounce around all the time, but I think one of the biggest ones, and I kind of touched on it in the first video, is divorce. Divorce is a big one. So to touch a little more on it, let me just recap what I put in the other one. So I had talked about divorce being one of the reasons why crime statistics are going up. Children are getting more and more used to the thought of divorce being normal. It's normalized. I feel like that's going to be marriage is one of the things that solidifies a civilization, right? So if we are moving forward with our civilization and with humanity, we would be seeing our marriage numbers go up and the divorce rates go down. The problem with that is that's not what the numbers are showing. The numbers are showing that the divorce rates are going up, marriage is going down, and even monogamous relationships are becoming a thing of the past quickly. So I'm not going to touch on different races or anything like that. That's not what I'm here for. But the divorce rate is sky high. Now, along with the divorce rate, and you can actually go and look up the trends, along with the divorce rate, crime statistics have gone up as well. Sometimes it depends on what neighborhood you're in. It depends on what city you're in. Things may change a little bit, but for the most part, those two work together. They both move together at the same rate. So, being a child of a divorced family, I can tell you that the impact of a divorce, separation, whatever you call it. Some people don't even get married now. They just are together and then they separate if things don't work out. So I can tell you from experience, coming from a divorced family, a separated family, it was hard. You grow up with your parents from a young age. You're used to both of them being in the home together. Things in my situation weren't that great, but at least I had my parents together in the same house for, the first, I want to say 10 to 11 years before things started to really, really fall apart. So the problem is that when my parents separated, when it was a done deal, they separated and everything was done with, it made me feel like my whole world completely shattered, right? And in my mind, I blame myself for it. Okay, so I'm looking at my kids now because I'm recently separated. I think I had explained that in the intro video. In my mind, what it did was it shattered shattered my whole world. It shattered everything that I knew. Started having behavioral problems. There were other things going on too, but I started having behavioral problems. Wasn't doing good in school. Didn't want to listen to anybody. I had an undeniable hatred for anyone that wanted to tell me what to do, or it got to the point where I didn't believe in the fact that anybody loved each other. I didn't believe in the fact that my father loved me. I didn't believe in the fact that my mother loved me. None of those things made any sense to me anymore because everything had just fallen apart. The neighborhood I was in wasn't, a horrible neighborhood. I don't live in LA or anything like that, but the neighborhood I lived in was a little rough, so there was things to get into and trouble to get into. So I guess the main point that I'm trying to get to is that if people took a little more time, right? Instead of being narcissistic like we've become, the society's become so narcissistic. Everyone's worried about themselves. They don't care about somebody else. The capacity to love somebody seems like it's starting to dwindle away. Being compassionate, all the way from, like me, I work a tough job. I'm gone all the time. My hours can go from 8 hours to 14 hours a day. I can leave my house and go to work at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and may not get home until 6 o'clock in the morning. By then, I'm dog tired, and I sleep. I sleep most of the day, so I can get up and go do it again. But that's what men are supposed to do. In our society, that's what men should be doing. Men should be working all these hours. They should be taking care of their families. They're the providers. You know, us men are the providers. We're supposed to work. So the problem is that it's gotten to the point now where, and I want to say this without going too much into it, but feminism has a lot to do with these divorces as well. Where feminism has, how do I say this without seeming like I'm being pig-headed, because that's not what it is. But feminism has given so much power to women that it's almost overpowered and giving them too much power now. To the point where if a man is going out like me and working 12, 14-hour shifts and has to sleep during the day so he can get back up and go do it again, the woman will be mad because I got to sleep and because I work all the time. Now, I understand that it's not easy. It's not easy being with the kids all the time. You know, you're working 5 days a week. By the time the weekend comes, you're dog dead tired. It's hard to even get up and go mow the grass, okay? So, I get that sometimes it can be frustrating. But that's one of the things that's leading to a lot of these divorces, is that women don't feel like, they feel like they're being left to their own devices, and that the men just don't care, which is that's not the case at all. It's that we have to work. It's either we work and things don't get paid and things don't get taken care of, or I'm sorry, we don't work and things don't get taken care of, or we do work, we overwork hours, and then the women aren't happy about it, right? And I'm not saying all women, because I know there's women out there that understand that we have to work a lot. My job happens to be very, it takes up a lot of my time. I don't have a lot of time for anything. You know, I'm working all the time. So what I'm trying to say is that for the women out there and for the men that are watching this video, if you're working long hours and you're you know, busting your ass and trying to provide for your family, and the woman is upset about it or mad about it that you work so much, there's no reason that she should be mad about it. None whatsoever. Right? And I the reason why I bring this subject up with the whole divorce thing is because that seems to be a thing that is very common between relationships or marriages, is that they can't take how many hours the person is working. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. You know what I mean? We're the ones that usually make more money, and I know that there's women out there that make money too, but we're the ones that go out there and make the most money, but in a family dynamic situation. So I say that to say this: I feel like whoever's watching this video, think before you get a divorce. Think before you make a decision off of certain things in the marriage before you make a rash decision. Are you really that unhappy? You know what I mean? Can therapy not be done? Or is it that you just don't want to go to therapy? You don't want to try. You're sick of trying. So, and the other thing that I think that people need to take into consideration when they think about divorce is your kids. Your kids' lives matter more than anything else. Us parents, right? I'm 36. Us parents are raising the next generation of kids. So what are you raising your kids like? I still spank my kids. I still get on them about certain things. I teach them how to have morals. I teach them how to respect people. I teach my son how to be tough, but at the same time teach my son that sometimes it's okay to feel like like you're taking on too much. So you got to think about the people that you're affecting when you get a divorce. You have to think about what that's doing to your kids. Not just in the physical form, you may not see that it's affecting them, but mentally, what it does to them mentally, what they think about themselves after a divorce, how they feel like it's their fault. And it doesn't matter how many times you explain to these children that it's not their fault, it's not gonna matter. I'm telling you, it's not gonna matter. I was all into drugs and liquor and all kinds of stuff when I was a young kid because I watched my parents fall apart. I felt like I had nothing left. So I think us as parents, especially my generation, because I'm right on the tipping line of millennials too. And most of these millennials are fucking lost. Excuse my language, but most of these millennials are lost. I'm sorry. That doesn't have anything to do with partisan politics or none of that. These millennials are lost. And here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing about it. Most of these millennials come from broken homes. In my generation, the divorce rate was triple what the divorce rate was in the generation prior. So a lot of us are from broken homes. These millennials don't know their backside from hole in the wall because nobody taught them anything. The parents were too busy fighting or making the kids feel guilty for whatever was going on between their parents. There's so many different aspects to the formula for a divorce and what can happen and what happens out of that and what neighborhood you live in, what kind of arguments the parents had. If you got your kids mixed up in the drama that's going on between you and your significant other that are having a divorce. In my case, my parents tried to keep me out of it, but I was smart enough to know what was going on. So, and unfortunately, in my case, it was a little worse because while all of that was going on, there was gang members outside. There was gang members at school. There was drug dealers at school. So while my family was over here falling apart, I found that camaraderie in people that were at my school, in the wrong people. So I think that we really got to pay attention. We got to take responsibility for our generation. We got to take responsibility for the kind of torch that we're passing on to our kids. And too many people back in my mom's a baby boomer era. So back in the baby boomer era, too many people back then didn't take responsibility for the torch that they were passing on to their kids. And now we got this huge, ridiculous mess now, where all these people are just divorce. This isn't working. I'm going to go over here and cheat on this person and go sleep over here, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Diseases are skyrocketing. Divorce rate is skyrocketing. Drug use is skyrocketing. You got to ask yourself, the thing that keeps a civilization together and keeps people from doing these kind of things is a family, right? In ancient times, when families were together, right? When you had the traditional family, right, where they raised kids and all that, those civilizations did pretty well. And when things started to come unglued and people stopped seeing eye to eye, that's when those civilizations fell. And right now, we're looking at the same thing. Divorce is only one of these things that is happening that's tearing our civilization apart. That's making America, and not just America, it's other places too, but I'm going to talk about America right now. That is tearing America to pieces. How many men are in prison compared to women? See, I can get on all different types of statistics where they're tearing us apart, limb by limb, and nobody's even paying attention. All these men are in prison, so who's supposed to teach these younger boys, these younger men, to respect women? Who's supposed to teach these younger boys to stay married? Who's supposed to teach these younger boys to keep their thing in their pants and to stay with one woman? That's what we're missing. That is the key. Fathers are so important, and nobody understands how important these fathers are. Mothers are put on a pedestal, and fathers are looked at like they're nothing. But we're the ones, we're the strong ones. We're the ones throughout all of history, throughout the ancient times and all that stuff. We're the ones who fought the battles. We're the ones who kept the families together. We're the ones who taught the sons how to fight so that they could fight the battles later on. We're the ones that passed our last name on to the next generation. We're the ones that are supposed to preserve I'm trying to think of how to explain it. We're the ones that are supposed to preserve the very essence of what our the essence of our civilization. We're the heart of it, right? Women are there. They're the caretakers. They go to work. They show the kids how to love and how to be gentle and all that other stuff. But without the men, without the ones who fought the battles, without the ones who went out and hunted and got the food and all that other stuff, we play a very, very important role in our kids' lives. The government's got most of us locked up in prison. And you got these boys running around, taking drugs and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, shooting at people and killing people, not caring about what they're doing or thinking twice about it. And just before I end this video, the system, the court system, the way that the court system works with marriages between a man and a woman is absolutely asinine. I can't even explain. There's no words to explain how one-sided the system is. It's completely one-sided. Men don't get nothing. We got to spend triple or quadruple the money that a woman has to spend to be able to hang on to our assets, hang on to our kids, hang on to what we worked for. While women get everything and the men are shoved to the side. They don't care. You go down to the child support office, I guarantee you 90% of the people that are paying child support are men. It's not women. Even if the men have the children more, he'll still pay the woman child support. So I don't want to make this a sexist thing. This isn't anything against women or anything like that. But there's a balance. There's a balance between these things. Women think that they have all the power to take the kids, take the money, take the house, take the cars. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. They don't. They don't, and it shouldn't be that way. Men should be playing just as big a part in our kids' lives, society. If there's a divorce or the family breaks up or something happens, they should get those assets as well. Men should not be pushed to the side like that. And I know because it happened to me. So, sorry, I got a little worked up there for a minute. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I really wanted to touch on the divorce thing because I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like, and I think I mentioned it in another video too, is that we're bombarded by it. On Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all of these different platforms, we're bombarded by the fact that we should cheat, that we should divorce, that we should go get on a dating site and secretly go find somebody to go sleep with. So these things are around us 24/7. And if you're not hearing about it from those things, you're hearing about it from people at work. Or you might have a friend that's sneaking behind her husband's back doing something. Or you might have a friend that he's sneaking behind his wife's back doing something. So that's really all I have, man. I feel like more men need to speak up about this situation. They need to speak up about the rights that we have as men in this society, right? And then the other thing is too is the toxic masculinity and all that stuff that comes into it too, because they say that if we do speak up, then we have toxic masculinity because we don't like the way that we're being treated. We don't like the way that we're being left out to hang and dry. So, just something to think about. I hope there's a lot of men that watch this channel, and I hope there's a lot of women that watch this channel too. You know, that was why I put the name as the family channel, because it's for everybody. So I will try my hardest to watch my mouth a little bit more and not say any cuss words and all that, because I know that here. But yeah, that's just touching on, touching on the divorce subject. And I'll have more with time, because I have other things that I'd like to talk about too. So I want to keep these videos short. So if you have anything to say, any questions, go ahead and comment below. Hit the like button, share, and hit the bell, hit the notification bell. That's all I have for today. You guys have a blessed day.